Reports of extensive damage this morning after a tornado touched down last night on the east side of the state. Thousands in the Flint area are without power. So we sent 24-hour News 8's Tom Hill into Genesee County to get a live look at what's been left behind. Tom?
Well, we have an absolute mess that we're dealing with here on the north end of Flint. I kind of want to show you, this is the scene that we're seeing pretty much all over this area. This was a convenience store. It was abandoned, but you can just see what damage was done here. Completely leveled. 3 out of the 4 walls here basically gone. And I want to show you, kind of give you an idea why this storm was so dangerous. Look at this plywood that's here. I don't know, it might be still hard to see, but there are nails sticking out of this everywhere you look. And we're seeing this plywood all over the place. So this was flying all over the place last night, and we are seeing this up and down this road, just how badly this area was damaged. I want to show you all these bricks right here. This is the wall that was up here that came completely tumbling down here. This is covering the sidewalk here. And again, this is what we're seeing up and down this road where we are on the north side of Flint. Now, a little bit of good news here. The firefighters and police officers that I've been talking with overnight say they have no reports of injury in this area. Outside of this road, it becomes more residential. But again, no injuries that are being reported associated with this storm here on the north side of Flint. Live in Flint, Tom Hill in 24-hour News 8.
A tornado touched down last night near Flint, and as the damages are still being assessed this morning, we have team coverage for you. Matt's tracking the system, and Tom Hill is live on the north side of Flint with a first look at the damage, and that's where we start today. Tom?
Well, Brett, as the sun begins to come up here in the Flint area, we're getting a much clearer picture about the type of damage that we're seeing. This was a convenience store, although it was abandoned, but you can just see absolutely leveled. 2 of the walls completely gone. Roof is gone. Who knows where that ended up? And one of the side of the facades completely has fallen off. We're seeing this type of scene up and down this road on the north side of Flint. I want to show you one thing about why these are so dangerous. Take a look at this plywood. This huge nail sticking out here. Well, we're seeing plywood all over the area in Flint, so this type of stuff was just flying through the air at extremely fast speeds. Now I want to show you something that we couldn't show you last half hour because of how dark it was. But take a look across the street. So it'll be interesting to see what the National Weather Service rules this specific area, because you can see those trees appear just to be pushed over. A lot of times with tornadoes, you look for that twisting of limbs. We don't see that specifically with those trees. So that is something that the National Weather Service will be out here assessing today, but just complete damage in this area. Although I have spoken with police and firefighters all night long, and they tell me good news. So far, no reports of injuries specifically in this area. Live in North Flint, Tom Hill in 24-hour News 8.
Those storms came almost 60 years to the day after a massive deadly storm ripped through that same area. 116 people were killed on June 8, 1953, when an F5 tornado touched down in Beecher. Another 800 were hurt. These are images of the half-mile wide track of destruction left behind. That tornado ranks as the 10th deadliest in U.S. history. Our team coverage continues this morning with Storm Team 8 meteorologist Matt Kirkwood. He's taking a look at the breakdown of some of the damage. Matt?
Yeah, it was a rough night in the Flint area. It seems like Flint's kind of like Tornado Alley here in lower Michigan. That, by the way, that 1953 tornado was before the Joplin tornado just 2 years ago. It was the last one to kill over 100 people. That was one of 2 EF5 tornadoes to go through the state of Michigan. Last night, fortunately, nothing like that, but we did have several reports of tornadoes on the other side of the state, where Tom was just north of Flint. He was showing you some of the damage scenes there. And there's also another report of a decent-sized tornado right around the Goodrich area that was reported shortly after the one that hit the northern part of the Flint area. Goodrich is about 10 miles southeast of the Flint location. Here's a look at what kind of specify or take a look at that the Grand Blanc one or the Goodrich tornado. Funnel cloud was reported right around 9:58. Now I was looking at some of the chat line, and when the National Weather Service in Detroit issued these tornado warnings, they were way out in advance of the tornadoes actually striking these locations, which is more than likely why there's really no reported injuries out there, even though a fair amount of damage. Damage was also reported in Goodrich High School, which people were trapped at, I saw, and also people trapped in some of their homes in the Goodrich area right around 10 o'clock as well. National Weather Service out of Detroit certainly is going to survey all the damage in the eastern part of the state, especially the Flint area. As that comes in, we'll relay that to you.
The sun works its way up this morning. We're getting a better look at the damage a tornado left behind in Genesee County. Tom Hillen is live on the north side of Flint. So Tom, what are you seeing out there right now?
Just a lot of damage and very widespread in the area where we are specifically. I want to show you something across the street from where we are standing. Now, I took a walk across the road in between the 6 and right now, and take a look at that dumpster. That dumpster was lifted up into the air, and it was placed or landed on top of that tree that was pushed over in the storm last night. Now, you can see that those trees appear just to be pushed over, not necessarily twisted. So it'll be interesting to see when the National Weather Service gets out here to see what they determine happened specifically. But there's a lot of damage in this area. There's about 5,000 to 6,000 people in the area without power. But good news so far from authorities, no injuries reported in this area. Live on the north side of Flint, Tom Hillen, 24-hour News 8.
It was a wild night for a lot of you in Kalamazoo, Berry, and Calhoun counties. There were tornado warnings issued for all 3 of those counties. And Storm Team 8 immediately took to the airwaves to keep you safe. Fortunately, there wasn't much damage, but on the other side of the state, it was a very, very different story. There are reports of a tornado touching down near Flint. And when information was slow to come in, we sent our own Tom Hillen to the scene to get the whole story. He joins us now live near Flint. So Tom, you've been bringing us live reports all morning long. What are you seeing right now?
Well, Emily, we've been surveying the damage, which is exactly what the National Weather Service is going to be doing later today to determine exactly what happened here. But look at where I'm standing. Look at these bricks. Well, this came off of the side of this building up here. So that just tells you how powerful this storm was. But that's not the only damage. We're seeing all kinds of damage just like this up and down this road. This was a convenience store, but as you can see here, only, I don't know, about a wall and a half are left at this point. I talked to a guy out here earlier this morning and said he just couldn't believe the sheer power of the storm.
Building right behind us has got the roof completely torn right off, and it's sitting in the back of this building that I'm standing behind. Yeah, I seen a Mountain Dew can ripped in half. They were still connected, completely ripped in half. I have a door handle next door. It's got a piece of siding just shoved up. It's strange. I seen a big chunk of ground missing out here where something hit it and blew away.
Now, there are a lot of crews out here from Consumers Energy. They're working really hard to get the power back on in this area. The last update from them shows anywhere between 5,000 and 6,000 people here in the Flint area in the dark right now. We're live on the north side of Flint. Tom Hillen, 24-hour News 8.